Writers of the Future is actually divided into two contests: Writers of the Future and Illustrators of the Future. Entrants from around the world send their stories and illustrations into Los Angeles, where the judges narrow it down to 3 winners: 3 writers and 3 illustrators. It's a quarterly contest, so every 3 months the process repeats. And at the end of the year, all of the quarterly winners are published in the Writers of the Future anthology, creating a new volume in the best-selling series.
And the book is the key to everything. If you had a contest and gave people money and held a press event, what difference would that make? None at all. But by putting out the best anthology published today, Writers of the Future is able to give people a launch to their careers.
While all the winners get prestigious awards, only 1 writer and 1 illustrator will be chosen to receive the L. Ron Hubbard Gold Award. It's an award that could change the course of your life. But before they know who won, there's one final element: the workshops. From all corners of Earth, from all walks of life, they arrive.
To me, the coolest thing was this week-long intensive workshop.
The workshops have been excellent.
They're a mixed bag. An emergency room doctor, a biologist, a college student, a naval officer. They're the contest quarterly winners, and they all get the chance to attend the ultra-exclusive annual workshop.
This, to me, is just the top of the world.
I think I was 11 when I first declared that I was going to be a writer when I grew up.
It's only for a year now that I'm calling myself a writer, and that's because of this contest.
Past workshops have been held at places like the United Nations, U.S. Library of Congress, and NASA Kennedy Space Center.
Writers of the Future will pay your way to wherever the workshop is. This year it's in Seattle.
The workshops are a 7-day one-on-one session with industry giants. Those who attend get a chance to meet some of the biggest names in science fiction and fantasy.
Walking into a room and seeing Anne McCaffrey I'm still a little goosebumped about it.
Certainly the training they give the young writers here is marvelous. I wish I had had that kind of training.
They study articles and exercises developed by L. Ron Hubbard.
Topics like how to provide suspense in fiction, how to sustain it, how to come up with convincing situations and backgrounds. And Hubbard's text on that stuff is certainly as valid today as when it was written.
This is serious. This is the real deal. The people who come out of it learn how to be real writers rather than just an author of a story once.
We start by giving each of them a pretty totally evidently useless object. Not something intrinsically interesting.
So you have some tweezers. You can have my cream saver.
We have to kind of pull from that object some sort of story.
I was given Ernie. Ernie is we're not sure what Ernie is yet. He has 3 eyes and he's made of beads.
My object was a small square of chocolate wrapped in gold. Now immediately the title popped into my head, The Last Piece of Chocolate in the World.
A story can be found in anything.
Matt, you can have this knob I found on the floor of my room.
My object, in this case, happens to be a pocket pack of Kleenex. So it's 15 2-ply tissues, and I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with that.
The object that I got in the workshop was a coaster.
I got a camera tripod.
Somebody got a stuffed fish.
I'm going to call him Nemo. Yeah. It was perfect because it grew into this giant whale-like creature living on a high-gravity planet. Actually, the whole story grew out of this tiny orange stuffed fish.
Then we have them, kind of to their alarm sometimes, go outside and meet a stranger. Now, go.
And they told us we couldn't say we're writers at a workshop. We have to interview people.
Don't fake it. We'll be able to tell if this is an imaginary stranger.
I find that people are relatively easy to interview. They're often eager to talk to you. They have ideas about the world around them which are colorful and bizarre.
I found this guy, Ted, and he was traveling by himself, and he'd been in special forces, he'd been to Cambodia, he had been shot 3 times, and so I used Ted's past for my protagonist. Ted was a perfect guy for it.
They come back from that, and then we tell them, now you're going to go to the library, and any associations you may have come up with between your randomly picked object and your arbitrarily met stranger, pursue that. If no such connections have occurred to you, pursue something, anything. Read up on dragonflies. Then we tell them, you have 24 hours to write a story. Go! And God knows if they sleep or not.
Yeah, probably 5 hours off and on.
4 hours.
Yeah, I've been sitting in this bed for 18 hours.
I'm glad I'm not doing it. I get to sleep.
It was 1 o'clock in the morning and there were people groggily sort of wandering around trying to wake up. And to keep writing.
They'll all come limping back, all red-eyed, and they'll each have written a story. And given this technique, which Hubbard invented, they really do turn out not just good considering that they were written in 24 hours, but actually good stories. And what they'll have learned is it can be done without waiting for the lightning bolt from the gods.
They're the next generation. They're the ones who are going to set the agenda for what science fiction is in the 2010s, the 2020s, and the 2030s.